Okay, do you want me to call, I'll call the meeting to order? And we'll start with item number 1, which is the land acknowledgement. And it states basically, we would like to begin by respectfully acknowledging that the town of Shelburne resides within the traditional territory and ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe, including the Ojibwe, Potawatomi, Chippewa, and the peoples of the Three Fires Confederacy. These traditional territories upon which we live, work, and play, and learn are steeped in rich Indigenous history and traditions. It is with this statement that we declare to honor and respect the past and the present connection of Indigenous peoples within this land, its waterways and resources. And so we will deal with the first item is disclosure of any pecuniary interest. Does anybody have any for the agenda? No. If there being none, we'll move on to item 3, which is adoption of the minutes. I just wondered if anybody has any questions or comments about the previous minutes. If not, can I get a mover and a seconder for that? Kyle and then Lindsay. Okay. All in favor? That's carried. And next. Oh my God, this is stupid. My phone has gone crazy again, and I'm losing my voice. So that item number 4, general information. We have a list of items of discussion as far as things such as the arts and brews. And we have a guest, Benjamin Murphy. Is he here?
If we could, let's
or do you want to wait till later?
Yeah, let's wait and see if he comes on.
Okay. So then the next item we'll move to for now is subcommittee updates. Arts, Culture, and Heritage Committee keychains. Who wants to discuss that?
Sure.
Kyle?
Okay, so I've talked with Len. I've given the artwork to him. Things are set. He's going to be cutting them, I'm assuming within the next month. I'm not 100% sure when, but I can certainly reach out to him. Everything has been finalized. Things are set, and we can just get them. He's already ordered the material. We just need to get it finalized.
Okay. So once it's all finalized, do you have a timeline or?
I'll have to reach out to Len and find out what the timeline is.
Okay. Yeah. Obviously, we don't need it right this minute because there's no major urgency. Any other comments or any questions about that by anybody? If not, the next item is the back lanes project. And just wanted to know if Alice, did you have something you want us to discuss related to that?
Sorry, we just skipped one there. Item C. Did you want to skip item C?
Oh, wait, no, I don't want to forget that one.
Sorry, you threw me off there.
So, can you give us an update on that?
Yes. So we did a survey of the committee. Unfortunately, we did not have 100% participation in the survey, but it was very close to 100%. And it is, at this point, the preference is to remain virtual.
Okay. So
it could be reconsidered at a future date, but it could because it was very close, but the preference was virtual.
So it's only for our meeting, or it's any meeting? Committee meetings need to be, all of them are virtual. That's the consent we got, or?
So this is specific to this committee. I did all the committees, but each committee is receiving their own results.
Fair enough.
All right. So how many, do you know offhand, not that it matters, but just for curiosity, how many of the other committees are still staying virtual or going to in-person meetings?
So none of the other committees have received the results yet. But at this point, it looks like they are all going to stay virtual.
Okay. It could be at this point because of this situation with COVID still right now, but who knows?
I think a lot of it with ease of individuals to get to the meetings, they're used to the virtual meetings.
Yeah.
You know, if you're late, it's a lot easier to get to a virtual meeting than it is to, you know, if you have to finish work and then get to a meeting, it's a little bit easier if it's virtual.
Right.
So there was some people that said they didn't have a preference one way or the other. So that was weighed in as well. And then we just went with the majority.
Okay. Okay, so we'll move on from that. So now we'll go to back lane projects. And did you have something you wanted to bring forward on that for us to start discussing?
I didn't have anything in particular. That was just because it was discussed at the previous meeting that it should be looked at. I didn't know if anyone had an update or wanted to add anything to that. So just so that it didn't get forgotten, I put it on there.
So just to refresh everybody's memory, do we know how many back lanes have not yet been completed?
I think it's 3 or 4.
Yeah, it was 3 or 4. Sorry, I don't recall off the top of my head, but it was 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't
Yeah,
have that.
so
many.
And the funding is available for the signs. We have, you know, the funds are there, they're set aside for it. So it's not going to cost the committee funds to do that because the funds have been set aside for that.
Yeah.
And this back lane is, again, just to refresh, I'm coming on a call after a very long time. So this is the artwork, which Lindsay, you were showing that the person will do those.
No.
Oh no, this is something else. Okay.
No,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a different
This is the
project.
lanes in town that we've already started sort of giving a name to of any type of historical person that was significant in the town. But there's still a few left that don't have any names. But the cool thing about this project is we erect like a sign with an image on the entrance to the back lane on both sides, the entrance exit, however you want to see it. And then it gives a little bit of the history on the person that the lane is named after, or what if it's not a person. I think they're all people so far. And then a picture of them or something of that nature, just so people kind of know, you know, when they walk down one of the lanes and they're like, oh, this is like, you know, Jelly Lane. Why is it Jelly Lane? Right. So it gives them sort of this history of William Jelly and how he's part of the founding brother of the town and yada, yada, yada. Right. And a photo of him. So
Okay,
that's
so,
what we still need to finish.
And so you say 3 or 4 left.
Yeah.
So is it necessarily need to be that old with the history, or it can be something new?
That's a good question.
We're looking at the history because that's part of the
It's
heritage.
have to be history.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying because it's sort of our soccer field. I'm not just giving us. We call it Thunder. I'm sure there is a history behind it. So. We
Right,
can call
so
it
if we did
Thunder
something like-
Street. So I'm just giving
Yeah, like
examples.
Thunder Lane or something
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like that.
Right, right.
Does it need to be that back? Way forward. I don't know.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could always look at, because like I said, I think right now most of them are after people, but I mean, I don't know if there's a mandate or a policy or something like that that says they have to be after people. And for example, you're right. I mean, you know, we are thinking heritage, but let's look at how long the soccer club in general has been operating in Shelburne, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
or baseball or you know,
Anyone,
yeah,
in that
something like
nature.
that.
I meant that. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So-
Yeah, like that could be cool. I mean, what you know yourself through the Rose Book that even cricket was here
Yeah,
back.
so I can't
Like-
remember, but
quite
I
some
think
time
we
ago.
have a photo. I could be wrong. It could be the soccer, but I think it's cricket. There's a photo of the whole team. And
Yeah.
that would be something that would be nice to have up downtown somewhere, you know, in the town somewhere.
Yeah,
so-
I mean that would be really cool, even as a mural.
Yeah,
Right,
that's what I
to
mean, as a mural, yeah.
Yeah, like to
But-
show the history of our sports in our town too, because
Right.
there is at the mod there's a jersey from, I believe it's baseball, and it's an
Mhm.
S with like a wing on it. And I can't remember what the team was called, but it's actually a really cool. I took a picture of it once because I was like, I'm going to replicate that because it's actually a really cool looking vintage shirt, right?
Yeah, right.
For their jerseys. So, you know, we do have like historically sports in Shelburne, right? And so it'd be really cool to honor that in some way, whether it be a mural or naming a back lane after something. So I mean, I love that idea.
Yeah, again, I'm not saying that need to be specific in cricket. In general, I would just saying, like, can we? Is it necessary to be that person name? It can be anything.
But the thing is,
we have a
like
curling club, we have Lions Club. I don't know. There are a lot of
yeah, that's true too.
good stuff is happening. So that my 2 cents again. So now I understand the backlane. Thank you guys for just. I was just getting confused. I said I thought they're talking about backlane need to be painted with graffiti or something. I said I don't have a backlane.
But
No,
again,
but I mean, I think that's why it's kind of on this agenda too, was because we were hoping at the last meeting that, you know, we could come at the next meeting, which, you know, we unfortunately had to postpone, with ideas for finishing up those backlane names, right? So regardless if it's a specific individual or whatnot, I was hoping that people would come with like sort of an idea. I did reach out to Bruce Lemke because he does want something named in the town after his father, who was the chief of police for quite some time. And he's gotten back to me, and he did mention that he's been in talks with Walter and Wade and whatnot regarding, you know, potentially having a street in one of the newer subdivisions or whatnot that's still sort of in process and hasn't yet had the opportunity to have a name for the street. So if that doesn't 100% pan out, then he said he loves the idea of a backlane name. And I did sort of say to him, you know, it is kind of unique in the fact that, you know, there's a whole bunch of streets in town. There's only a handful of backlane names. So, or back lanes, for example. So, you know, there's only going to be a very select few who actually get chosen for that. So it's rare, right? And then the difference as well is the fact that, you know, street names are street names, but do we really know where they come from, right? When you just see Rintoul or you see, you know, William Street, for example, or something of that nature, you're just like, oh, great, William Street. It's named after maybe somebody, but you don't really know. And with regards to these back lanes, you know, right? There's signs erected, there's history written down, there's a photo. So I said it's actually an honor and extremely unique to have something like that, you know, named after you. So, I mean, I obviously did not give any promises. I did not say if you know, the street didn't go through that he would definitely, you know, get a spot. I just said I didn't want to bring it back to you guys with the option of voting on something like that if the Lemke family thought it was an insult, that it was a back lane. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
I wanted to sort of run it by him first and just see if the family was approving of something with regards to that, so that I could bring it to the committee. And then, you know, in our process, we could then, you know, have a few names and decide on whether or not we would choose it in the first place. But again, it all stems back to whatever happens with regards to the street that they're thinking about in the first place. So it's a thought, it's a throw out there into the committee. So at least we have a name that we can potentially use if we need to, or if we want to, or whatever, however that works. And it would be accepted by the family. So that was my suggestion to bring forward for this meeting for the back lane names.
Got it. But thank you very much for putting that thing out. But again, if there is anything, I just wanted to get a clarity on it, but I got it. Thank you.
Okay, so does anybody else have any suggestions for back lane names or anything specific they want to add to that? So that the committee can look at that and then at some point, not too long from now, maybe start making some decisions about what we're going to finalize. Because the year will be over very soon, and then we can get this going in the spring.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you, Linda. The sooner we can kind of finish this up, probably the better. And then the brochure can be finished and it can be sort of ready for us if we do have a table at an event or something of that nature in order to hand out to people.
Right. Okay, great. The next one is the Arts, Culture, and Heritage Committee mandate. Now, is that there for us to specifically discuss over again, or is that
So the mandate does need to be revised because
Okay.
the committee is joined from 2 committees into 1 committee. So there's a heritage mandate, there's an arts and culture mandate. So you could either work on it as a committee as a whole, or get a couple of, assign a couple of people to a smaller group to work on it and bring it back to the committee. But it does need to be redone.
So having said that, what is everybody's thought? Like, do we want to have a few people handling, certain component parts of it and others handling something else? Or do we want to do this as a group and go through it one by one and then kind of weed it out and come in with a list of things that we want to change? What's everybody's thoughts? Kyle?
I don't mind striking a subcommittee. Unfortunately, I'm not going to volunteer for that one. I've got a lot on my plate right now. But having a subcommittee review both mandates, probably not a bad idea, and find out where the direction that we'd like to go,
Mm-hmm.
and certainly put a direction for us would probably be wise.
Okay.
Sorry guys, I just got an email from Benjamin. He says his daughter ended up with the flu, so he's not going to make it tonight.
Okay. So we'll just maybe postpone that until the next meeting. Okay. Okay, so anybody else have any thoughts or ideas or want to sit on the committee? Like, I don't mind sitting on the subcommittee with whoever would like to.
I can probably sit on it as well.
Okay. Anybody else?
Oh, I am fully engaged. Sorry, that's why I'm not raising my hand. My dad is in too much hospitals visits nowadays, so
Yeah,
that's
I've got the same problem.
sorry.
Okay.
yeah.
So
Apologize.
how about Bella? Are you interested at all? Depending on when we have the meeting. There's Bella.
I do want to. Would it be in person?
If you want.
Probably not.
The
Probably not.
sub-working,
Okay.
the sub-working group can make that decision amongst the
Okay.
3 of them. There's no, I'm not saying one way or the other. You can make
Yeah.
that decision what works for you.
Mhm. I think the main thing is just, we get the mandates or whatever the heck it is, from both committees. Maybe Alice, you can send them to us so that they're in one email together. We take a little bit of time personally on our own to review it, make
Yeah,
any
and then
notes or what you may want changed or what you may want omitted or whatever. And then what we would do is just have maybe a quick, like you said, a quick Zoom meeting. So that way it's easy for all of us. We're kind of already home. We can just throw on the Zoom and then just briefly sort of go over it. And, if we're all in sort of, agreeance as to, okay, let's remove this or let's not remove that or whatnot. I mean, I would really hope it would only be about a half an hour, 45-minute meeting, right? So if that works for everybody.
Yeah,
And
sounds good. Alice?
it's a sub meeting of art and culture, like whatever the mandates we are talking about. Is that that we are talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
It would just be making a new one that encompasses both.
Okay, so if there is no one, like I will, my only thing is that because I will be traveling a lot and plus I will be in hospital, I will try my best to be there. And if there is any ideas, so how many we are right now? Is it Linda?
So you can only have 3 because as soon as you have more than 3, you're into a quorum of the committee, and we can't have a quorum of the committee.
Oh, okay.
So
I don't know.
So
Ask
there is-
Bella. If Bella can do it, if she is there, then Linda, Bella, and and Lindsay can handle it. But I'm just saying, if there is no one, then I'm the last option. So I would try my best, Linda. So you
Yeah.
just make me work. If there is anything you want from my
Well,
end.
what we could do is we could put together something and then just forward it off to everybody to have a look at it, and then they're ready for a discussion. Alice?
So what I was going to say, Linda, is I will forward what exists to
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can send to the sub-working group your thoughts on it.
Right, right.
Sub-working group can revise based on the thoughts and give everybody a deadline when you want your responses by. And then we'll bring it to another agenda. It's not good to forward it to the whole committee via email because that can be
Okay.
seen as moving forward committee business via email, and we don't want to do that.
Right.
So we'll get it back. Whatever you revise, we will bring to once I get it back from you, I'll put it on the next agenda that
Right.
after I receive it back from you. I'll also take a look and see if there's other municipalities that have a mandate that combines art, culture, and heritage, and send those to you as the subgroup
Sure,
as well,
that's a
if
good
I
idea.
find
Yep.
anything. Okay, so I'll send that. But we would need a resolution to form the sub-working group and to put yourself, Linda, and Lindsay and Bella on that.
Okay. Okay, that sounds like a good solution. So we'll move on to item 5.
Well,
We
we,
need a
We
resolution.
need a
Yeah.
Oh,
resolution.
sorry. Who wants to make that motion? Sorry, I
Kyle's
didn't
gonna make it. I can second it, I suppose. I don't think that's a conflict or anything.
find- Who made the motion? Who made the motion?
Kyle.
Kyle. Okay, so Kyle moved it and Lindsay seconded it. So all in favor of that? Okay, that's great. Thank you. And the next item is new business, which is a review of the proposed rendering for 220 Owen Sound Street. Can we have that up on the screen just to have a look at it?
Yes, so would you like to see the rendering first, or
Yeah.
would you like to see the area first?
Well, the area too, maybe. We'll start with
Okay.
one or the other.
Give me 1 second here. Okay, so this is for 220 Owen Sound Street. It is a portion of the property that is being severed from the existing property. And then this will be built on the severed portion. If I'm reading the drawings correctly, it will, even though the address for the property is Owen Sound Street, this house will be on Second Avenue.
Right.
Okay, so if I go here, give me 1 moment here, and I will flip back to that rendering as you needed in a moment. But this is the area, you see this little gray garage.
Right.
This is where that house is being built.
Okay.
Okay, so
Mhm.
you can see the house next to it, the two to the right are both brick houses.
Mhm.
To the left, that is 220 Owen Sound Street. Across the road on Owen Sound Street is this gray building. On the other side of Second Avenue, that is also on Owen Sound Street, brick house, smaller gray house over here, and smaller houses as you go further down Second Avenue. So older homes, those are the ones that are going to be next to it.
So would that house be about the approximate size of those two that we're looking at now? Or do we know that?
I'm sorry, I don't have dimensions for the house.
Mhm. Because it would looks like it would fit in nicely with,
Yeah, do you want me to flip back to the,
yeah.
sorry, can't share multiple screens. So there you go,
My-
that is what is being proposed.
My only concern is it looks like it's white.
It does.
Can't,
Yes.
I mean, I'm assuming it's white.
It looks very white.
It's a bit.
looks really white.
Normally it would be okay, but I think to say, well, I think they're gonna say, Lindsay, with the other two houses being red brick and the
Yeah.
other one beside it also red brick, it would be nice to incorporate at least a portion of it as a red brick, maybe along the bottom.
Yeah, that exactly, like maybe something like halfway up or whatnot, and then the
Right.
rest could be like a board and batten.
Yeah.
I mean, and if not that, but okay, because I
I'm-
guess,
Yeah,
but the white,
I'm of the same thought. I mean, they are surrounded by red brick.
yeah,
And it would
It,
just kind of
go-
stand out. Yeah.
yeah, to go with straight siding doesn't really fit. I know that there are
No.
other houses that are there that obviously have been approved earlier on that were straight siding, but I'm not going to go by what previous committees have approved. Honestly, I think the biggest thing is to have a white siding building go in beside a bunch of red brick houses, surrounded
Yeah.
by red
Yeah.
brick houses, is not good.
And we want to do the brick because we want to keep that culture and consistency. That's the idea. Okay.
That's exactly
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, because this is gonna look very white and unique and new built anyways.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
just try that
This-
whole Owen Street.
I
Okay.
mean, if it was sitting next door to a 3-story or building downtown, like, we have some of those, that might blend in, but in this case, that's not the situation. So I
Yeah,
agree that it needs to be more characteristic of the neighborhood.
yeah. Like I don't mind the layout. I think, the black windows are nice. The little awning is okay. I think
The
the
design is great.
general look of it is okay, but
Yeah, the design
I
is
do
great.
not
The
like the
Tudor
white.
style with the peaks and everything else. I mean, the design looks great,
Yeah,
but needs to blend in a little bit more.
yeah. I think that white is just gonna stand out like a sore thumb. It's gonna be, it's gonna look like Paulo's building on the
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say, but I didn't want to say that.
Go there.
on the west side of the town.
Yeah,
right?
just don't
It
go
just-
there.
Right? Like it's just too white. It's just too white. That's
Yeah.
But what option they can go with? I'm not sure that they have the color in sidings as a red brick, or they can go light brown. I'm just
I would
No,
say that have
no.
brick.
That's
They
right.
need to have
just to have a brick. Do we have the
Mhm.
authority to tell them to have a brick? Because that will increase the cost for these guys.
It is going to
Yeah.
increase the cost. The reason that
Go
they're
ahead,
doing
Alice. Sorry.
siding is to save costs. But I'm sorry, putting up siding in a heritage portion of town
Correct, yeah.
does not fit, and I don't personally agree with it.
No, and the thing is, even if they were gonna turn around and sell it, they'd have a much better chance of selling it as something that blends in with the community
Mhm.
than something that sticks out like a sore thumb.
yeah,
So,
for sure.
and the cost is not that much more. If we were asking them to put brick on the entire house, that might be a different story, but we're not.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I
Alice.
think
Go ahead.
Alex has something to say.
So yeah, so these from the committee, it's just recommendations. So the committee doesn't, you could recommend, like, if they didn't want to take the brick, you could recommend a more neutral color that would blend in better other than white.
Yep.
Like go more tan or more brown siding instead of, that would probably blend in more based on the comments you're saying than the
Yep.
stark white.
Yeah, but having said that, I think, because it would come to council through the planning department, they look for the recommendations of the committee. And so we
Yes.
might as well stick to what we all agree with. And then it's up to council when it comes before you to make their decisions.
Yeah,
And Linda and Kyle, they are saying that hey, the price difference is not that big. Just make it red brick, make it life
Right.
easier for everyone, and plus it's an advantage for the owner. If they resell it, they will get the value of it,
Yeah,
and
they'll
it's
get more money
blended
for
in
it
the
anyways.
community. So it's
Yeah.
if the recommendation is that, then and I agree, white is really
yeah,
Sure.
popping up too much.
exactly. Like, I feel like if they did, Linda, you sort of mentioned half brick about, midway up or something of that nature. And then instead of white siding, they did like a sienna
Yeah.
brown, right?
or
Like
something,
something, of that nature.
Something
So
that
it almost
will,
looks like a
blends
cedar
in.
or, something of that kind of color. Then it would really it would be nice to see beside the current house that's there, because with him doing such a wonderful job on that renovation with the red brick, the black, and the sienna brown with all the wood that he has in the major
Yeah.
structural columns on the front, right? This would sort of replicate, that aspect of it. So having, the upper siding being the board and batten, but having it in a sienna brown or something of that, which would then complement the lovely black windows and the black door,
Right,
and then the red brick on the bottom.
right. The other thing too is when it came back to council, I know the residents in the area would definitely have something to say about it if that was the way it looked, but if it was that way, the other way that we're recommending, I think they'd be
Yes.
more amenable to it and they'd have less people upset with anything.
Yeah, I agree with you. There was already a decent amount of comments regarding the build in the first place.
Mhm.
And, you know, with the lack of, I guess, authority or whatever that council can do, I mean, it was gonna move forward likely regardless because of, you know, the mandates with building more homes and infill. But it would be nice if we at least show those residents that we are trying to have at least something there, even though they didn't want it there, that complements their current homes.
Yeah. And I think they'd be a lot more satisfied too. 'Cause I remember from the committee meeting last year that they didn't want this big, huge property covered with a giant sized house and no room for parking or anything else. And so this, again, is the same or similar size to the other one. So it's a perfect solution to their problem or the situation.
And I do like also that it's like a bungalow. I think that's
Yeah.
wonderful because I know that there were some neighbors with concerns about having the 2-story looking over into their backyard and their
Yeah.
privacy aspect of that at that. So
Yeah,
I
so
like
think
the
he's addressed
design.
everything, yeah,
Mhm.
in his design. It just
Yep.
need to go a little bit further.
Yeah,
Okay, so
exactly.
can I get
Now,
a motion from someone to suggest what we were discussing with regards to the red brick?
I can motion that, I guess. Alice, do you have sort of a general idea as to?
I was gonna say, Alice, have you got a motion that you can read off for us?
Yeah.
So that you receive the proposed rendering for 220 Owen Sound Street, and that the following comments are recommended: that a portion along the bottom of the house, partway up, be red brick, and that sienna brown or cedar color be used instead of white on the board and batten.
Can I add one little thing to it? Can you say the red brick to complement the neighboring homes?
Right.
That they know why we're asking for that?
Yes.
Okay, and who would like to second that? Kyle? Okay, any more discussion on that? If not, all in favor? Okay, great, that's carried. And my screen has disappeared here, so hang on a second. Okay. So I think that's the end of the items that we have on the list, unless somebody has any new business.
Not so, well, I guess it kind of is new business. You know, I just wanted to, as part of the committee, just obviously send my condolences, you know, Shahela, to you for the passing of Alex. And you know, we definitely are going to miss his presence here on the committee. So I just wanted to sort of state that. And then unfortunately now there's a hard question to ask, and that would be, do we look to fill his position, or do we look to council to reduce the number of committee members so that we can make sure that we reach quorum? Personally, I don't want to fill his position just because for respect to Alex. I would rather the committee come with a recommendation to council to just reduce the number so that we can continue to make sure that we make quorum. But if we don't even need to do that, then we just stay as we are, and that's fine too. But it's an awkward thing to talk about, but I know we just need to make sure that we're clear there.
Alice, did you want to say something? I'd like
Just for everyone's knowledge, we are counting quorum for this committee as having 6 members. So we're considering the committee to be 6 members. So it's not affecting your quorum. It doesn't need to go back to council to reduce it. That's just the way it's being considered right now.
Okay, perfect.
And just to add to that, I would also like to, I don't know how or in what way, but because he was part of the committee and had lots of great ideas, I'd like to have something that we could maybe put his name to, whatever that may be, as a memorial or a remembrance of him.
Could we
Yes,
maybe, I don't know if it's appropriate to, but what about one of the back lanes?
Okay, well,
Is that maybe too much, or is that something that we could do?
I love the idea, and that's what Kyle, you just read my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could look into that. There's also, it was brought to me by someone that suggested a bench over by the soccer field
Mhm.
because he was so
Yeah, so that's a
No,
bit.
he's
so
he,
into
So that
soccer.
fits in, you know.
he's a
Yeah.
community-oriented person. Just wanted to announce one more thing. And in our cricket club, we already dedicated an annual award on his name.
Amazing.
That's gonna be that's the sportsmanship award will be dedicated Alex Carter Award in our cricket. But again, that's something something private, something related to a sports club because he was there from the first time when we first started, Lindsay. You know that, but so that's
Yeah.
what we did. But I love the idea of backline and even the bench.
Yeah.
The
It would
guy
be nice
was
to have a bench near
Yeah.
where soccer is being played.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I personally, I love that idea. He was so avid in soccer and such a big part of it. And, just to sort of have families who are experiencing joy watching their kids play soccer or kids that are tying up their shoes, before they get onto the field, using his bench. I think that would be, I think he would love that. I mean, I don't know, Bella, obviously you can weigh in a little bit about this, but I just feel like the type of guy Alex was, he would love that. So, I mean, like I said, I don't know if Alice, is that something we can use the committee money for? I'm worried. I don't want to.
Yeah.
So
Good question. I was going there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a commemorative tree and bench policy that the town has. Honestly, I can't answer that question at this meeting. I would need to double check that, and I can bring that to the committee at the next meeting.
Yeah.
As long as Bella's comfortable with going forward with that.
So if we were to make a recommendation that we would like to have the town consider this and adopting it, whether they're paying for it or we're paying for it, and just get clarification, but if we could just have the committee make the recommendation and then the town can deal with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So are there,
Is that okay? Are you okay with if we do something like that, a bench over by the soccer field for him?
Yeah, that's really beautiful.
Okay. It would have his name on it. It would say dedicated in memory of, and it would say, Alex Carter and so everyone who sat there would know it's his bench. And we could even add something like for his dedication to and love of soccer, or soccer, Shelburne soccer.
could we have a commemorative plaque next to it? Because these benches don't last forever.
So the benches, that's what I'm saying. There is a policy. We can't go around the policy. I have read the policy, but I don't know all the specifics of the policy. I can look into the policy and see how it would fit with the committee, but absolutely with the recommendation from the committee, we can go forward. Like if it is, there's paperwork that has to be done with the commemorative bench policy. So I'll look at that. And if I need more information from the committee, then I'll bring it back. If we have the resolution and I don't need more information from the committee, then I will go ahead with that paperwork.
Okay.
Okay.
The only thing that I do know is that, so there is a plaque that can be put on the bench. That unfortunately we can't specify a particular location with the request. However, my understanding with staff and in general is that any request will be accommodated as best as possible.
Okay.
Right. Of
Right.
course.
Good.
Of course. Okay, so I guess the resolution would say like the committee requests a memorial bench to be placed or with suggestions of to be placed at a soccer field, and the funds to be used from the committee budget. And if that is not possible, then we make a recommendation or a request to council during budget talks to facilitate that out of council budget.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, a seconder for that motion? Kyle? Okay, all in favor? And that's carried. Okay, so any other items of new business? Any other things anybody wants to bring forward? If not, can I get a move for adjournment? Mover, I should say.
How would we start the process of working towards another mural? I can't remember kind of how we did it in the first place, but I'd like to, have we done a resolution to council for budget to keep the 15,000, blah, blah, blah?
Oh, yeah, we gotta do that.
We did that, or we didn't do that, right?
We do that or
just
not?
talked
I
about
can't
it?
remember.
You did a budget resolution to council already.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
good. I thought we
Okay,
did,
good.
but I wasn't sure. 'Cause I don't.
I know, I was just making sure of that too. I'm like, I need to make sure, because I can't remember if I saw it come to council yet. Did it? I don't know.
Well,
It'll be
is
part
it
of
not part of the budget?
process. It's in the budget.
Okay. Perfect.
And
Yeah.
Lindsay, we are doing the same. Remember last time when I met you guys going showing that gravity, the mural. So we're going with the same person, or just different.
Oh,
guy?
we could probably put it out to like a
Okay.
like tender,
Tender
right?
process,
Like
yeah.
we don't need to. Live to Rap is just local, and we used them last time, which they did a phenomenal job. And they were very reasonably priced. So we could look at using them again, but at the same time, we should probably have a couple of quotes so that it's fair and equal, and we're giving everyone a chance.
Fair enough.
And then the committee would decide on who they want to use. But we need to have some photos, we need to make some discussions as to where we want to put it. And so the process, I mean, gosh, the first one took us like 3 years. So I'd really
That's
like
because
it to
we
be
were
faster.
new at doing it.
I'd really like it to be faster.
So
So
the
no.
budget is aligned. That's what you guys are saying. It's there, 15,000. That's
yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
just
like
who
we
will do it.
have-
We don't know. Okay.
Yeah, like we should have some money. So that shouldn't necessarily be a question. It's just now sort of moving forward with, okay, like what pictures would we want to use, and do we want the same kind of look as the one that we already have up, and that sort of thing. I know Linda and Kyle, you guys were talking about covering that box or something in Jack Bowling Park. So I mean, maybe if we start with that, with no,
I
we
think it would be
can't
nice to
cover
finish
it.
that off.
No.
Just, no,
Here's
Yeah.
my dream.
no, not
crush.
on the box, next to it. Next to it on the.
Alice has a comment on that one. It wasn't
I
about
know, she's like,
covering- It
no.
wasn't about covering the box. It was just
No.
sort of surrounding it, but still
Surrounding
having
it.
access to.
To take away the
So,
ugliness of
The
it.
box is owned by Ontario Hydro. So
Yeah.
you would have to get permission from Ontario Hydro. So if someone is willing to take that on to try to get permission from Ontario Hydro,
They're so much fun, just like the MTO. Yeah, it
Good
was.
luck with that.
Let's look elsewhere. Let's
Yeah.
just
Well, even to create a
you wanna
screen
get it
around
done
it.
in less than 3 years,
What? What's that?
Right?
Yeah.
if you want to get it done in less than 3 years,
yeah.
Yeah, right.
having to get permission from Ontario Hydro is not going to be a quick and easy process.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's even to create like a screen, like something that isn't attached to it. It's just sort of in front of it. Like,
The problem is, Lindsay, is that you have to understand that's a utility box. They have to have easy
Yeah.
access to.
access.
There are
All sides.
codes that you have to abide by. You have certain restrictions as far as space and everything else. Honestly, it's not
Okay.
worth even going down that
I
road.
mean,
Right.
there are other communities that have private hydro companies,
Mhm.
and the private hydro companies have given permission. However, it would be up to the committee to reach out to Ontario Hydro and determine who would be able to give that permission.
And I promise you, I've already been down that road before on other items, and they are just as fun to deal with as MTO. So you know how well that works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I know how hard it was for me to get them to cut down the tree that was entangled around the power line in my backyard. So that took like almost
Yeah.
3 years.
So just
I finally got it done,
I would
though.
suggest, as far as the murals go, we should consider looking other locations.
Yeah.
So just
okay.
to add, just to throw an idea, I'm not sure if it's doable or not. Lindsay and Kyle can help me out with this thing. You see again, I'm gonna go refer to KTH Park. You see that big red box for cricket storage which you're using? It's ugly, big red boxes there.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can we paint that thing with something?
That's
Absolutely.
a good
Yeah,
idea.
that's our property. It's Shelburne.
100%.
It's a
Yeah.
town's property. Just it's like some kind of. It's already there in the parking lot. It's like
Well,
a
that
picture
might be
boxes
the
throwing
the
there.
perfect spot
Big.
to do,
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's
might
no
be-
reason why we can't wrap it. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, so why not think about that being the case, using the photo of the team.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Excuse me,
I'm just saying because there are a
Yeah,
lot of
good
park
there.
and yeah, a lot of park and recreation plan is there. Like we're talking about making a trail there. People are walking so they can see. It's not necessarily need to be cricket. I'm just saying it's a big box.
You're not wrong. You're absolutely right. Absolutely. It's
But
a big
it's an
metal box in the
appropriate
middle of
place.
nowhere.
Exactly.
You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. Yeah.
That's true. That's
But
true.
it's an appropriate place to consider that particular photo,
For sure.
Mhm.
as opposed to
Mhm.
someplace else
Yeah.
that has no relevance to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's pickleball, there's cricket, there's a soccer field, and there are a lot of things we are doing. People can take their selfie. We can say something about Shelburne. It's beautiful.
Sure.
What is it? It's just two cars, like cars are parking there with a big red box there. Okay.
I know also we were trying to get something out on the west end of town as you're entering into the town. It was like pulling teeth trying to get a reply from the owner of the building where I don't know what's on the corner of it now, if there's anything in there.
Where
Yeah,
was
there
this
is.
talking?
There's something went in there that was
Yeah,
like a beauty salon or something, I think.
is that it now? It was a shoe store at one
It-
point, then it was.
It's either
it
that
was-
or it's the daycare, one or the other. I'm not 100%.
Yeah,
sure.
there was
Oh, I
Cassie's
know which one
place
you
in
mean.
there once. It's turned hands a couple of times, but it's that facade that we were trying because it is so easily seen when you come in off the west side.
Yeah.
But we couldn't get any kind of answer back whether or not we could put something on there. So I don't know if there's another opportunity coming in on the west side. Like I'm trying to think of how I see it now, and that
Honest,
spot
Lindsay,
really is the best spot.
To be honest with you, Lindsay, I still like the idea of putting something right on Town Hall at Third Line.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's
Right, yeah.
a big brick space. There's no reason
Yeah.
why we can put a
Did you
mural
say
on
the
there.
town hall?
On the Town Hall.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Coming
think
up
the
Third
only
Line, coming up Third Line towards Owen Sound Street. There, where the front doors are, there's that little jut out of the building.
Right. Yes.
That we could absolutely put a
Put
massive
something
mural
there.
on. We could or small portion of the wall we could put a mural on as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, did we discuss the heritage aspect of the building though with that? Do we need approval for that? I mean, I know we need approval now just to try to change the roof. So that was my only
I would
concern.
think you wouldn't
can't
That would be a
remember.
question for Alice, I think. I'm not sure, Alice. Do you know?
Or
Can
would
we-
I'm
maybe
sorry, I don't
Denise
know
might
off
have
the,
some comments.
yeah, I'd have to talk with Denise and Jennifer.
Okay.
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 So speaking of
I
the
will,
mural,
I will make a
Oh, sorry.
note to ask though, so that we can have the information going forward.
Perfect.
Okay. That would be
Okay.
awesome. Thank you.
yeah, speaking of the notes and then all murals, what about our sign when we come, like the Shelburne, welcome to Shelburne sign?
Mhm.
That is outdated, completely dead.
This
Yeah,
coming-
Yeah.
it is, but
Can we repaint it?
Okay, well,
But it's going to be fixed.
It
Oh,
is
it's
going
gonna
to be
be?
fixed.
Yeah.
One thing you got to understand is that it was last term of council. It came forward. We decided that we are going to hold off on fixing the sign until the subdivision is finished,
Was done.
because otherwise it's going to get destroyed.
Damaged.
So it is in the works. It is on the back burner for now. It will be fixed.
But is
But
that
yeah,
considered
we
in
will
our
figure it
committee?
out.
Is it covered in our committee as an art and culture, or it's something
That I believe is council. Alice,
council, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought so. Okay. That's what I was
That-
thinking. I said, man,
Just
It's
a
just-
question, Kyle, is that on the budget for this year?
not for this year.
No.
No, okay.
Not for this year.
No,
Yeah,
not-
Fieldgate still is not assumed, so they still have Alice 2 or 3 phases that they've got to go through yet. So it's going to be a little while yet.
Yeah.
okay.
So
Thank you,
they're
Kyle.
still
I
going ahead
didn't
with
know that.
additional commercial?
There, okay, so there is
It would-
another, I believe there's another additional commercial with residential
It's,
above.
yeah, it's
Right.
And then
mixed,
there's
mixed
another, at least
multi-use.
another block of townhomes, and then I believe there's another block of full, single dwelling homes as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's still quite a
whether
bit.
they're going ahead with it right away or that was.
They're moving along quite well, actually. I'm as far as you know how all these developers go. I'm actually impressed with PA. They're actually really wanting to get things built and done. So they're moving at a good pace.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
considering all those houses are practically all for sale, they've been for sale forever. Because people bought them and invested them, I don't know why they're in a rush to build more.
Well,
Yeah.
I would assume it's probably because of their contracts.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They had contracts to build the homes. It's not their responsibility to resell the homes.
Mhm.
I'm not talking about reselling, I'm talking about building. That's okay. So if there's nothing
Yeah.
else we need to discuss tonight, I think we've covered quite a bit.
Yeah, so I guess like I said, maybe for the next meeting, I know Jennifer had a whole bunch of historical photos. Maybe Alice, if you wanna chat with her, if she still kind of has those, and then we can bring them as part of the agenda to review, just to see if there's anything that we would like to choose out of those photos. I know we had a couple of options that we had, again, selected, the prior committee for the west side of town, but, you know, maybe we can still use those ones. We just need to find another spot for them, because unfortunately, I think that building may not ever be an option for us, even though I really want it to be. So, but yeah, I mean, we can finish working on the wall that we're already on and make that a really beautiful feature wall for Jack Dowling Park. You know, where people can stand in front of it and take some photos and things of that nature. Or,
The only,
like I said,
okay,
we find another
sorry,
spot.
Lindsay, I don't mean to interrupt you. The only thing that I would suggest is that wall where the mural that we just put up.
Mhm.
I don't think that you can put any more murals on, simply because in the summertime you don't see it.
No, I think one mural is fine.
The one mural is fine. If you put any other murals, that tree covers it completely in the summer.
Okay.
You can't see it.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
would be
Well, then we just need to figure out where else, you know, maybe the curling club or something again, we can figure out something on.
Alice, did you want to say something?
Sorry, I just need to confirm if Bella's still on the call, because otherwise you no longer have quorum.
Oh,
Okay. Bella, are you here?
I'm here, sorry, I just had to switch over to my phone,
Okay,
because I'm picking up my son.
okay. All right, so maybe what we should do is, you know, move for adjournment. So if I could get somebody to make a motion to adjourn. Kyle, and then seconder,
I can do that.
okay, all in favor? And that's done, so we'll see you guys again. What's the next date for the meeting? November,
December.
November? Oh, this is November.
this is
Yeah,
November.
it's the
It
first
doesn't feel like
Wednesday.
November. It should be
Yeah.
July.
December
first-
6th,
December
December the
6th.
6th.
Okay,
I was
great.
gonna say, I'm like, I want to say the 6th, but it's the first Wednesday in December.
Yeah. Okay,
And we have it at 6:45, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that I was having a really rough day, and this committee just kind of keep